Hi everyone, I'm so happy you could join me today. It's the last full moon of 2019, so I thought I would do a reading for us around that full moon energy and just to see what is in store for us this week and into the weekend. It's all about just reflecting back on the year and without trying to be too hard on yourself, just sort of looking at what you've learned and maybe some things that you're still going through and still learning. So that being said, I want to see what messages the cards have for us today and for you to help finish off the rest of 2019 and start the new year with a bang. Okay, so I'll just start by shuffling this deck of 48 cards. And this is the deck that I wrote, by the way, called the Whispers from Within Oracle. I'm just gonna ask, what guidance do you have for us today to do with the full moon energy going into the weekend and something that we can focus on collectively for the rest of 2019. Okay, there's three that just fell out and I didn't really see them, I just sort of glanced, so let me just see if any more want to come out. Sometimes it does happen like that where they come out in a clump. If a whole bunch fall out, then I just pop them back in and keep shuffling, but because it was taking a while for any to come out and then three fell out, I think I'm just gonna go with those unless any more want to fly out of the deck. This one wants to come out. So I'll just leave it at that. There's 4 cards here and I'll put that aside, the deck aside, so that we can see what the validation card is underneath. Okay, so the first card that comes up is emotional addictions. Now, if you have been going through a lot of changes this year and a lot of sort of like an emotional roller coaster, this card just means that, you're going through that for a reason. Okay, so whatever that reason is, it's going to be different for everybody. But it's asking you to explore these emotional highs and lows that you keep having and try to understand the why behind it. And, some people will disregard the why and they'll think of it as, yeah, this is just happening to me and I just have to go along with it. But that's actually not the case at all. The why is actually very important. And sometimes people avoid finding the why because they are afraid of, kind of opening up a can of worms for themselves and their emotions. Sometimes people have trauma that they don't want to deal with again, that they just sort of buried. And now the trauma is like coming up in like other ways, like they're compensating by, like if you have a lot of sadness, people usually compensate with being really angry in their responses. So it's about like having the courage to explore that and go a little bit deeper into the why you're having certain emotional reactions that are not favorable or that you don't like having, or maybe like emotional reactions, like a pattern of them that you realize that you have, but that you want to fix, that you don't want to do that anymore. Because, you've probably noticed over time, or maybe if you haven't and you start looking at it a little bit more closely, you might start to realize that the pattern is just really negative and, that you always respond a certain way to certain situations and that it's starting to bring you down. So if you are having that awareness now, that's a good thing because you're being guided to explore it more, you're being guided to change it. So awareness is the first step towards changing these things. And then it's all about just taking baby steps, especially if you do have trauma and things are really painful to work through on your own. It might be worthwhile to enlist the help of a therapist or a psychologist or somebody that has the ability to help others and guide them through these changes in their lives. You could do cognitive behavioral therapy, which is what I practice, neuro-linguistic programming, which is something that I am also incorporating into my practice, or whatever you feel like you need. Okay, so those are just some options that you might want to look into for healing. Okay, the next card, and also the clump that came out, this is what I'm reading from now. They're probably gonna tie together for us somehow, so I'll just do one by one and we'll see sort of like what comes up like at the end for the full sort of message with those ones. Okay, so the next card that came up is meditation. And meditation, this card, I feel like it's asking you to meditate more as a way to work through your emotional addictions and almost like to reveal the pattern to you. If you're not sure what your pattern is, or if you're not sure what your emotional addiction is, like you might know that you have one, but you want to like pinpoint it or like get specific with it, meditation's a really good way to do that. It's a really good way to just like kind of hone in on the specific issue or problem or even the trigger. And you might even want to like explore some regression therapy through, a lot of therapists do it differently. There's like, usually through hypnosis, but regression therapy. And I think, and that's sort of like a meditative state, right? When you can go back and do like an age regression in your life to understand where it all started, then you might be able to understand the why a little bit clearer so that you can take the right steps to overcome it. And meditation's a really good way also to just be still with your thoughts. And a lot of people, again, like they avoid meditation because they're afraid of what might come up during the meditation. And if this is you, just know that like working through those uncomfortable 30 seconds, it's part of the healing process. If you want to heal, you have to get uncomfortable. Now, how uncomfortable you get is up to you. We certainly, like our spirit guides certainly won't allow us to take on more discomfort than they know that we can handle, unless we're specifically asking for it. But we all just take like a little bit at a time, like whatever we can handle, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. So if you start your meditation, start low and slow, especially if you've never done it before, just to get used to it and to understand the basics of it. Okay, and in that way, maybe some things that are a little bit uncomfortable might come up in the meditation, but it's important to just work through them, breathe through them, go slow. And if it's starting to be too much for that one session, then you can, just bring it to a close or direct your focus somewhere else to finish off the meditation. But, it's showing you those things for a reason, because it wants you to heal them. It wants you to work through them and let them go. So meditation is a really good way to do that. And you're safe. You're always safe in a meditation. And that's the beauty of it is, you can work through the traumas and sort of like just rewrite what happened in your mind. And that's like one way to overcome these uncomfortable moments, is like just to visualize the discomfort that you're having and acknowledge it, but rewrite it in a way that, you wanted it to happen, so that it's, so it's sort of training your brain to let go of it in that way. And if you want help with doing that kind of work as well, let me know. That's also part of my healing practice as well, and we can do these sessions remotely. So I think that's really cool, because we don't have to live in the same city to do them. Okay, so the last card in this group is you're not alone. You are not alone. A lot of times, we might feel like we're just all alone in our journeys and the situations that we're in, and it's just not true. It's just not true. So I feel like what this card is asking of you today, of us today, is whenever you have that thought or that feeling like you're just all alone, challenge it. Challenge that thought. And, do what it takes to show yourself and to convince yourself that it's just not true. I mean, you'll most likely come to the conclusion that it's not true. It might be true for like that particular second that you're alone, but it's not really true when you think about the bigger picture. So an example of this is, if you're feeling really bummed out and you're having like one of those days and you're thinking, oh, I'm just so alone, I don't have anybody, and nobody cares, nobody gives a shit. Think to yourself, okay, well, I know that I'm thinking this right now, but is it really true? Think of anything you can, like somebody that was friendly to you at the store, or maybe there's a person that says hi to you at the gym that you see. Maybe there's somebody at school that you connect with, and maybe you're not like super good friends, but they're always like looking out for you and they want to help you. Or I don't know, it could be anything. An acquaintance, if you feel like you don't have any really good friends right now at this time in your life. And if that's you, I'm really sorry to hear that. I know what that feels like, and it sucks. And thinking about that sort of thing can sort of drag you down as well. So it's important to try to change your perspective, change your perception on these thoughts. Okay, so that's what this is asking you to do. So emotional addictions, meditation, and you're not alone. I really feel like this is all talking about, changing your perception on things, changing your perspective, changing your thoughts about things, and using meditation as a tool to do that. So it's all about rewriting your history. And when you're rewriting your history, you're also able to rewrite or to change, and that impacts and influences your future outcomes. So we do have the power to do that. And I'm just starting to discover all of this myself, and it's a real thing. Like, it's all energy. Energy is how we all operate, whether we are aware of it or not. And our thoughts are energy. Our actions are energy. The words we speak are energy. So, we have the power and the ability to write our own stories. And that's one of the reasons why I never read the future for people. And, I think a lot of people have been brainwashed into thinking that psychic readings are all about telling the future. And, I had somebody ask me recently, well, how far into the future do I see? And I said, I don't read the future. I give people the tools that they need to write their own future and help them to do that along the way. So when I read the cards, it's, okay, I'm interpreting what the cards are telling me through my thoughts and my feelings. And then you can take away what you need from it and do what you think is the best for you. So, and that, I think that's really freeing, personally, because that way, like, you can do whatever you want, like, the world's your oyster. Okay, so the last card that popped up for us is called Self-Check-In. And I feel like this is really important to go with the rest of the reading today, because it's just asking you to check in on yourself. And the emotional addictions card, how we talked about just having the courage to go there with your thoughts and your memories and your emotions and just allow yourself to feel it bit by bit. And this is what this is all about. It's sort of like kickstarting it, like asking you to check in. How are you feeling today? How are you feeling overall? How are you feeling about this situation, about that situation? And to be honest with yourself. So forget about all the other conditionings that you might have learned about, well, you're not supposed to think negative, you're not supposed to feel negative, so you're gonna just push those feelings aside and pretend like they're not there. Or maybe you're gonna pretend like this situation isn't bothering you when it really is. So, anytime you're pretending, that's not actually like gonna manifest into anything helpful. It's just gonna give you back like more of like, things that you need to pretend with. So it's checking in and being honest about the check-in that you're doing, and writing it down, like how you're feeling, if it's too painful to talk about it. And meditation's like a really good way also to sort of acknowledge feelings. And if you're not good at acknowledging feelings, or maybe that was your upbringing, that maybe you kind of have like a little bit of a fear of acknowledging feelings, even just like sitting quietly with your body and doing a body scan and seeing like where you have pain in your body, it's a really good start to allow the emotions to come through with it, and just know that it's okay and feel safe doing that in your own space. So yeah, it does take a little bit of courage, but you can do it. You've got this. If you're being guided towards all of that, stop stuffing it down and just deal with it. Deal with it at little bits at a time, okay? Now, the final card on the bottom, this is like a validation card. So other people want to help you. Other people want to help you. I want to help you. That's why I do these readings. I want to help you. I want to help you to become the best version of yourself that you can be. And aside from me wanting to help you, there's other people out there that want to help you as well. So there's so much help out there. So if you're feeling like you're all alone, the card that you're not alone that came up, if you're feeling like that, then again, think of people that have been trying to help you and that might want to help you. If you're looking for help right now with something, also, it's always the first person that comes to mind. And you might not even know that they're trying to help you. They might be working kind of like behind the scenes, kind of like how, our angels work, our spirit guides. They all work, and the universe, it all happens behind the scenes, like we don't see it. People work like that too sometimes, right? Like when, sometimes people, they get a referral for a job or something, and this person that they forgot all about ended up thought of you and referred you to like this other person that called you. So that's an example of how people sort of work behind the scenes sometimes in our lives, right? And just be open to that happening. So the more open you are to that happening, the more likely it is to happen. And also just trust that things are happening behind the scenes in the spiritual sense as well, with the universal energy and all that sort of stuff. So I just feel like it's all about just diving in and trusting your intuition, trusting yourself, and having the courage to work through the issues that have been holding you back and that might be causing you some pain in your life, physically or spiritually or emotionally, and just taking the steps to deal with that, like how we discussed in the reading today. And I wanted to show you guys this mala that I made, and these are really cool. They're also called prayer beads. And when you're trying to manifest things or like keep an intention, what they do is they touch each bead, and it's a really good way to like manifest your intention. So you touch So you touch each bead along the way, and then there's like a spacer bead here to kind of bring you back to reality so that you don't lose focus to what you're trying to manifest. And there's 108 beads on here. So, the more you focus on your intention, it's good, because the more likely you're gonna manifest that. It's all about where you're putting your focus and your energy, okay? So I made this, and it's for sale. I even made the tassel, so this is kind of a new project for me, but I make them with real crystal beads. So if that's something that interests you, you can purchase these from my website at www.moonstonesalts.com. That's where I have my wellness products that I make myself for sale. Or you could make your own, like get creative and make your own. That could be a really good healing exercise for you to do as well, is to make your own mala necklace. And also I will leave the link to that website in the description, and I'll also leave the link to my other website, colleensmith.ca, in the description if you are interested in working with me to get some healing done in your life, or coaching, or if you want to book your own personal, more in-depth oracle card reading, or spiritual tarot card reading, whatever you want to call it, with me as well. You can book that on colleensmith.ca. Okay, well, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I know my videos are running a little bit long sometimes, but I just really wanted to share all this info with you, and I want to give you more in-depth information so that you can take what you need from it, and hopefully there's something in there for everybody to have like a little bit of a takeaway for the full moon energy here and the end of the year. So I will be back before the end of 2019 with some more messages, and until then, take care, and I want to wish you a really blessed day. See you next time.